Hello everyone, this is Taha from Unipilot, and I'm here joined by Mubashir and Sami from Exod. So this is one of the most important community update, and we are here to talk about the macroeconomic condition that are happening right now in the market and how they could affect Unipilot. And we will also talk about the financial health of Unipilot and business KPIs as well. So as you all know that when you are building a DeFi product in market and you have a token, and if the market is going really bearish, then you have that effect as well. So previously we were running Unipilot uh, as we have a lot of funds on our hand, and we were using that to incentivize people and get them into our protocol. But now, since the token price has really fallen, uh, we have to be really careful about selling tokens and how we are going to manage our expenses. So to talk on that, Sami is here to talk about financial health and business KPI. Over to you, Sami.
Thank you, Taha. Hello, everyone. So, in this community update, we will be discussing, like Taha said, the economic situation is really uncertain right now. Nobody knows what will happen in the future, and since our token is really aligned with Ethereum, as Ethereum goes up and down, our token suffers as well. And like Taha said, we have not been really careful with how we are managing our expenses in the past. We have made really bad financial decisions, to be honest, that has put us here, so that we have to talk about these things now. So the silver lining in all of this is that this has made us realize the real potential of the Unipilot protocol, and we have we have collectively decided to focus on the fundamentals and make sure that the inflow and the outflow, uh, 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 you know the expenses that we are doing per month are matched by the revenue that the protocol is generating per month. So this is the main agenda of this meeting, and we have identified some key business metrics for the protocol and how we will be improving them in the coming months. This is the Unipilot Notion homepage, and which is public. Anyone from the community can access it. If you go to the protocol business KPIs, you will find information that we will talk about in this meeting. So uh, when we were researching on it and finding ways of improving the financial metrics of Unipilot, we realized that Unipilot is really similar to a software as a service business. So how a software as a service business works is a customer uses a service which is provided in the form of software by some community, by some company, sorry, and that company charges a subscription on using that service or software. So the pilot protocol is providing a service to the liquidity providers, and for that the pilot protocol charges 20% fees on the profit, or on the fees that the protocol has generated, which is the main revenue line for the pilot protocol. So in when we analyzed these metrics that are helpful for the software as a service businesses, we realized that these are also very relevant for the pilot protocol. So here you will find in this table some key business metrics, which I will go over one by one, and then we will go into the details of how every metric has been in the past or how we expect them to be in the future. So first of all, we have the revenue growth, which is really obvious. So these metrics have to be seen from the perspective of 1 year. So a protocol or a company or a software as a service business, if that business or a protocol grows their revenue by 3 times, that protocol or a company can be classified as a great company, or because they have a great product and that product is generating revenue. So if since the V1 was launched back in November, and it had issues, and because of those issues the TVL was drained out really quickly, and we promised to give an update, and that update was launched in April. So the pilot protocol has actually been in production for only 2.5 months. So these metrics are important for us, but these metrics can better be seen when it has been at least a year since the V2 has launched. So we will still do a bit of analysis in this meeting. So first of all, we have revenue growth, and then we have TVL, which is really obvious, and then we have gross margins. Gross margins are, for those who don't know, gross margins is just revenue minus the the operational expenses that you have to do to keep the product running or the protocol running. Okay, and then we have net dollar retention, which means that any client or a customer or a liquidity provider that comes into the protocol, how much that LP uh, increases its liquidity in the future. Let's say we have for 140% in the category of grade. So if an LP brings in $100 of liquidity in the first year, we expect them, if our protocol is really generating value for that LP uh, should have increased their liquidity by 40%, and we would consider that as something that is providing liquidity for that LP and is a product market fit for that specific person. And then we have CAC payback, which is customer acquisition cost payback. And in our scenario, the customer acquisition cost is really the farming tokens that we give out every month to those who provide liquidity. So the farming rewards actually attract liquidity providers, and they work in a sense that they will be decreased in the future. So those liquidity providers feel the instant incentive to provide liquidity, and if we are providing them value, they will be here in Unipilot for a long time. So this is something that we are still in the middle of figuring out. And like Taha said earlier as well, we have not been really careful with how we are doing our expenses, which has resulted in our token being inflated. uh, so this is something that we are still working on, and we will share an update in one of the future meetings or through Twitter update. And then we have burn multiple, which is my favorite metric of out of all of these. The burn multiple actually tells you how much capital you are burning per month to generate new ARR. In this case, new ARR means the new annual recurring revenue for the pilot protocol. If an LP comes in with X amount of liquidity, how much that LP will be giving revenue to the protocol over a period of 12 months in the future. So if a business or a protocol expends $5 million per month to bring in $1 million of new ARR, their burn multiple would be 5, which is really bad. The burn multiple between 1 and 2 can be considered good for high growth protocols or high growth businesses, but ideally it should be less than 1. And less than 1 means you are, let's say you are expending $1 million in burn expenses per month, and you are generating more than $1 million of new ARR. Your burn multiple would be less than 1, which is great. And uh, the goal is to reach burn multiple of 1 or less than 1. So, Taha and Mubashir, if you guys have any questions, you can ask before we move on.
I think very good.
So, let's move on. So, this is a detailed analysis of all our business metrics and how they have been in April and May, and how we expect them to improve in the future. So, you will see we are projecting 10% TVL growth per month, and the whole model really depends on how much TVL we are able to increase per month. So this is a very conservative estimate to really gauge how what kind of position we will be in financially if we are able to grow at 10% per month, and our actual growth targets would obviously be significantly higher than that. Then we have 40% revenue to stakers. The revenue that the protocol generates, 40% of that would go to the stakers. Uh, and then we have our growth KPIs, the TVL that we have, and how it's increasing per month, monthly active users, revenue per month that the protocol is generating. The pilot that is being that is coming into circulation per month, the revenue to stakers that will really start from July, as the staking app will launch on 25. So the real revenue would can be seen in July, that the stakers get. Then we have the marketing budget, the core team salaries, the payroll, the design agency that we have hired, and other dev expenses, which have $1,000 per month. No cost for auditing, because we are not really launching a new version of the protocol, so no need to do auditing anymore. So, and then we have our business KPIs. So in July, if we are able to reach a TVL of around 2 million, our gross margins would be uh, in minus $7,000. The net margins is all the expenses that we do, revenue minus all the expenses that we do. We're still in the loss here. And then we have the new ARR. If we are able to increase our TVL from $1.7 million in June to $1.9 million in July, the new ARR that we will have is just less than $12,000, which is good. And the burn is actually all the expenses combined. The total burn in July, we expect the total burn in July to be just above $27,000. And then we have this burn multiple. If you guys will see, the new ARR the new ARR that we are able to generate in July is just less than $12,000, and our burn is just over $27,000, which is not good. Like I said earlier as well, our actual growth target should be significantly higher, and this model has been designed in a conservative way to project really slow TVL and revenue growth, so we are able to really see where we are standing financially at this moment. So as you guys will see, you will see uh, every month, as according to this model, $16,000 of new pilot tokens will come into circulation if we still uh, keep funding our expenses through the pilot token inflation, like we have been doing since the token has launched. So at the end, we have this small working if we convert the index fund into a treasury, and this is something that we have been discussing for the past few weeks. If the index fund is converted into a treasury, how much revenue that the treasury would be earning per month, and on top of that, the current funds that we have in the index fund, those funds are put into the Unipilot protocol, and the protocol gets extra revenue per month from that liquidity. So if we decide to convert, if the community votes on converting the index fund into a treasury, this is something in that case. So the protocol is earning just above $10,000, just less than $11,000 per month. The treasury is earning around $10,000 from liquidity. If we provide around $200,000 of liquidity, this is a conservative estimate again. In that case, the net outflow from the index fund would be $6,500. So in this case, we would not need to inflate pilot tokens anymore. We would be able to do all of our expenses from the index fund, plus the fees that it generates, plus a small amount from the actual main index fund. So if we are able to grow at 10% per month, the total amount that the main index fund would have to be taken out would be around $30,000. So let's also see how much funds that we have in all of our wallets. Let me share another screen. If you guys have any questions, you can ask.
So I was thinking about the two metrics, the CAC payback and the net dollar retention in that sheet. So what does it represent with respect to the net dollar retention, and how does it contribute to the whole business KPI model?
Okay, so the net dollar retention actually tells you how much the LP is bringing, how much how much percent the LP is increasing their liquidity that they have deposited in the Unipilot protocol. So ideally it should increase, which would tell us that the protocol is really valuable for that LP, that they are increasing the liquidity that they had previously provided. Let's say they brought in $100 of liquidity at the start, and after they see that the protocol is really giving them value, they increased 20, they increase it by 20% after a year. So our net dollar retention would be 120% on average if all of our LPs do this. So this metric is very useful in that regard. And the CAC payback is the cost that we have to incur to attract that LP in the first place. Let's say uh, on average a liquidity provider brings in $1,000 of liquidity, but to attract that LP we have to expend $10,000 in farming rewards and other expenses, other marketing efforts. So if we are able to generate 20% fees on that $100,000, we would need a long time to cover that expense that we did at the start. So a CAC payback is actually measured in terms of time. How much time after how much time that cost that you incurred in the first place you are able to recover. So that's really useful in that regard.
All right, got it. Thanks.
Let's move on. We have this sheet which has all of our wallets, all of our foundation incentives, marketing, development wallets, and then we have in the last the index fund. We also have the liquidity locker, uh, which is a smart contract that has the LP, the Uniswap LP token for the liquidity position of the Pilot Foundation. So in total, if we add all of the Pilot tokens, we have around just above $1 million in total runway. But obviously, this includes all the Pilot tokens, and we can't uh, bring them into circulation for obvious reasons. So the actual liquidatable total number that we have is $226,000 as of this morning. So this is the total number that we have, the total amount that we have in our bank account that we have to use to make sure that we survive for X number of months before we go out of business. So this amount needs to be used to accelerate our growth so we can attract more TVL. If we have more TVL, the protocol generates more revenue, which in turn ensures that we become profitable after a while, and we don't have to inflate Pilot token anymore. So if we don't use these amounts, we will have to keep inflating the Pilot token, which obviously really impacts the long-term holders, which we obviously don't want. That's it from my side. If Taha or Mubashir, do you have any questions we can ask, and if there's anything else you want to talk about?
So, in which month we are finally going to break even and become profitable?
If we grow at 10% per month, our burn multiple would become less than 1 at $6 million of TVL. So in here you will see at $36,000 of burn per month, we are able to generate $37,000 of new ARR per month. But our actual revenue is still less than the total burn. The total burn is $36,000. Our revenue per month is $34,000. But after a couple of more months, in September, let's say, at 10% TVL growth, at $7.2 million of TVL, we would be profitable. So uh, then our net margins at $7.2 million of TVL would be around $2,000. So we would be profitable.
Got it. And about the funds that we have that are liquidable, about $226,000. How many months can this sustain the team and our expenses?
If we take uh, just less than $6,500 per month from the index fund, we would need around $30,000, given that the TVL grows at 10% per month. Obviously, if it grows at less than that, we would need more funds to be used for growth efforts and operational expenses. but at 10% of at 10% growth in January of next year, we wouldn't need to use the index fund anymore, because the revenue that the protocol generates plus the liquidity that we have added in the protocol, in the Unipilot protocol, let's say that liquidity generates $10,000 of revenue. Of course, this is all assumptions at the moment. It could generate more, or it could generate less. So if it generates $10,000, we would need just less than $30,000 in total in around 7 months.
Got it. Moshe, do you have any more questions?
No, it's all from my side.
So we will leave this document links along with the video. So anyone who wants to see how we crunch the numbers, they can see it. And this was it from our side. Thank you everyone for watching.